We all have these big goals, right? We think that to get these massive, life-changing results, we have to make some huge, earth-shattering move. But what if that's completely backward? Today, we're diving into James Clear's Atomic Habits, and it's all built on this one really simple but powerful idea that real, lasting change, it comes from the compounding effect of hundreds of tiny decisions you make every single day.
And this is the core idea that just turns everything on its head. It's not about that one heroic breakthrough moment. Nope. It's about the small, almost invisible choices we make day in and day out, the ones that slowly stack up over time to build the person we become.
Okay, get ready for this, because the math here is what really blows your mind. If you just get 1% better at something each day, it feels like nothing, right? But if you do that for a year, that tiny improvement compounds. By the end of the year, you're an incredible 37 times better. Not 365%, 37 times. That's the staggering power of just showing up and making those small, consistent gains.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with that philosophy of 1% improvements. Then we'll look under the hood at the engine that drives all our habits. After that, we'll get into the super practical playbook for building good habits and breaking bad ones. And finally, we'll connect it all back to the most important piece of the puzzle, your identity.
All right, first up, the power of 1%. This is all about making a crucial shift in your focus. It's about forgetting the finish line for a second and instead falling in love with the process, because it's the system, not the goal, that actually gets you results. And to really get this, we got to talk about this amazing real-world example. For about 100 years, the British professional cycling team was, well, let's just say they weren't winning much. They were famous for being mediocre. I'm talking one single gold medal in almost a century. Then, this new coach comes in, right? And he has this totally different idea. Instead of looking for some magical breakthrough, he focused on what he called the aggregation of marginal gains. They just tried to improve everything by 1%. The bike seats, the tires, the fabric of the jerseys, even, get this, the type of soap the riders use to avoid getting sick. Hundreds of tiny, tiny improvements.
And the result? It was absolutely mind-blowing. Within just a few years, that team started to dominate the entire sport. We're talking multiple Tour de France victories, a whole bunch of Olympic gold medals, the whole shebang. It just proves that small, compounded efforts can lead to success that is truly remarkable. The system created the victory.
So if these tiny habits are so powerful, how do they actually work inside our brains? Well, that brings us to the engine room of our behavior, the 4-stage habit loop.
Think of the habit loop as this little automatic program that's always running in the background of your life. It's this neurological process that creates and reinforces every single habit you have, usually without you even consciously thinking about it. And it all works in 4 simple steps. First, you've got a cue or a trigger, like ding, your phone buzzes. That leads to a craving, the desire to see what that notification is. Then comes the response, the action of actually picking up your phone. And finally, the reward. The satisfaction of seeing the message. And every time you complete that loop, the connection in your brain gets just a little bit stronger.
Okay, so now that we know how habits get wired into our brains, how can we be the ones doing the wiring? How do we build good ones on purpose? This is where we get into the fun part, the practical playbook, starting with the 4 laws for building better habits.
These 4 laws are your toolkit, and they're super simple. If you want to build a good habit, you just have to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. Let's look at a couple of quick examples.
So how do you make a habit attractive? Well, there's this brilliant technique called temptation bundling. It's so clever. You just pair something you need to do, like exercising, with something you genuinely want to do, like watching your favorite show. The only time you're allowed to watch that show is when you're on the treadmill. The desire to watch the show literally pulls you into doing the habit.
And Law 3, make it easy, is a total game changer. It's all about reducing friction. And the best way to do that is with the 2-minute rule. You basically scale down any new habit so that it takes less than 2 minutes to get started. So read a book every day just becomes read 1 page. Go for a run becomes put on your running shoes. That's it. The goal isn't to do the whole thing, it's just to start.
Now, what about the other side of the coin, breaking bad habits? Well, here's the most elegant part of this entire system. You don't need a new set of rules. You just take the 4 laws we just learned and you flip them completely on their head. Just look at this. It's perfectly symmetrical, isn't it? To build a good habit, you make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So to break a bad one, you just do the exact opposite. You make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. So what does that actually look like? It means you increase the friction. You make the bad thing harder to do. Want to stop wasting time on social media? Uninstall the apps from your phone. Make it difficult. Want to stop eating junk food? To make it invisible, you just don't keep it in the house. It's that simple.
And this all brings us to the deepest, most profound part of this entire framework, because this isn't really about just tweaking your day-to-day behaviors. It's about something much bigger. It's about shaping who you actually are. This is the big mindset shift. We tend to set outcome-based goals, right? Like, I want to run a marathon. But the idea here is to adopt an identity-based goal. I want to become a runner. See the difference? A goal is a one-time thing you achieve. An identity is who you are. Lasting change comes from shifting how you see yourself first.
And I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you write one page, you're casting a vote for I'm a writer. When you practice your guitar for 5 minutes, you're casting a vote for I'm a musician. These tiny votes add up and become evidence of your new identity.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Your habits aren't just about the results you get. They are literally the building blocks of your identity. They are about who you become over the long run. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the grand plans and the huge transformations for just a second. Based on the person you want to become, what is one tiny 1% action, one small vote that you are going to cast for yourself today?